Good evening, dear guests. Welcome to our third webinar about vertical farming, part of the Echoing Plus project, where we embarked on a journey that intertwines a few vital and interconnected subjects like climate change, secure food production and consumption, and smart farming for the empowerment of young individuals. Today, we shine a spotlight on sustainable urban farming with PLNT. In a world facing environmental challenges, it has become imperative to explore innovative solutions that address these complex issues. Our webinars bring together experts and pioneers in the field of agriculture, ecology, and technology to discuss how we can collectively combat climate change, secure our food sources, and empower our youth through smart farming practices. Our distinguished speakers for this event are at the front of this movement. They're Dr. Iva Johovic, aka Dr. Plant, and Hans Snijder, co-founder and CEO of PLNT. They will say a bit more about themselves in a bit. Before we start, I want to mention that we have 7 more webinars on the topic of vertical farming coming up. So you can stay tuned by visiting our Facebook page, where we post more information about them. And without further ado, let's welcome our speakers, Dr. Iva Johovic and Hans Snijder, who will introduce us to the flourishing world of PLNT. Iva, Hans, the stage is yours.
Well, I can start, Hans can start. Anyway, we are the plant. My name is Iva, as Joanna already said. Thank you so much again for giving us this opportunity to participate in your webinars. It's really our pleasure to share our experience, how we came up with starting to grow as a vertical farm. That's going to be more Hans, who's going to share his whole trip, and he's going to tell you how we do things, what is motivating us, what we are striving for. In any case, about me, I'm biologist and ecologist and agronomist by background. My PhD is actually in ecology, not in plant biology, but Hans is always teasing me that I'm Dr. Plant.
She is.
Well, Hans is economist by background, and you can say.
So my name is Hans Snijder. I am one of the co-founders and the current CEO of PLNT. I'm really happy to have everybody here, whether you're joining the webinar or you're watching this later on YouTube. One thing we enjoy at PLNT is spreading knowledge about vertical farming, because we love what we do, and second, we believe in sharing lots of information about how we do things, and also a bit why we set up PLNT. We aim to inspire and also help other people who like to journey into vertical farming. As we've already told you, I am an economist in background, also extensive background in IT, so information technology, and some in finance as well, banking. So I have a broad background before venturing into agriculture.
Before becoming farmer.
Yes, before becoming a farmer.
Okay.
Shall we start by
we can start.
Sharing a little bit about
our menu for today. Our menu for today is starting with, of course, starters. We're going to give you a brief introduction to Plant Company, why Plant, how Plant came to be. Then as a main dish, we're going to tell you how do we work, what do we grow, and who makes Plant work. We're going to tell you a little bit about our team, what is our backgrounds, and how we do it. And as a dessert today, we're going to tell you what makes us tick, what makes us excited about vertical farming. We're going to tell you more about our principles, what we stand for, and of course, what we have achieved in these 4 years since Plant started to exist. Of course, we're going to share also what's next, what we have on our plate, and we're going to give you an opportunity to ask questions and share how you came up the idea of starting to do farming vertically, and what would you like to do?
And again, last principle, we do it locally. So we do not aim to service all of Belgium. No, we aim to provide leafy greens here in Antwerp, where it's local and where it's eaten direct.
As far as our bikes can go.
Yes. Now, the same principles we also have when it cope. That's too fast. When it comes to sustainability, that's something that really sets us apart for us as well. Vertical farming has some of these inherent sustainable advantages, but we enhance them by selecting more. Starts, for example, with green energy. We have solar panels, which provide in summer up to 30 to 40% of our energy. Unfortunately, we're in Belgium, so in the winter we have to supplement this as well with green energy that we buy. So we make a conscious choice to make sure we have green energy that we both produce, and when we buy it, we have to. Zero pesticides are used when it comes to our products. It is something we avoid at all costs. We've never used a drop. We've never bought any. It just doesn't enter here. It means all our produce is fresh, untreated, and people can eat it. We even have our kosher certificate.
That's also recent. Yeah, you can say
recent.
About that.
Yeah. So that's something as well. We're vertical farm, so we waste no space. We use height to make sure we are as efficient as possible, but also the technology allows us to produce yields that are much higher.
Up to 8 layers at the moment.
8 layers, yes. We use bikes to deliver, so we use eco-friendly delivery. We use electric cargo bikes to make sure that we are not polluting in the city, and we get around the city as quick as possible, so we get our fresh food around. Very important as well our carbon footprint. We're always working to lowering it. We'll talk a bit more about that in a bit, and that's something, really exciting. I find myself, and that Iva will cover it. It's her project.
Absolutely. No, I'm super excited about that part,
Yes.
especially because of I'm ecologist. I'm always excited about sustainability.
Yeah.
And that's one of the next things that is happening here in the farm, but more later.
Hang on, wait.
Sorry.
We have we also have ultra short change. I mentioned it. We aim to deliver, we cut and deliver same day.
And deliver directly to our consumers without anybody in between.
Nobody in between, no limited temperature shock, so you have a fresh product all around. And in the middle, water reuse is also something that is typical to vertical farming. We reuse up to 95% of our water, but we apply that reuse to everything. We reuse our packages, we reuse our trays, we have reused containers. Everywhere we look,
we are gifting our substrate to be reused.
So we are really focused on having a zero waste policy as much as possible. That's a bit about our principles and what we put in place. That's what have those principles delivered to us. Well, we've saved over 190,000 single-use packages. So that means that is 190,000 plastic packages that have not been
less in the world.
We've logged over 19,000 kilometers, that should say, carbon free with our bikes. We've delivered 150,000 packages to restaurants that haven't been flown in and transported. And why do I say flown and transported? Especially with restaurants, as a vertical farmer, I don't consider my competition to be a greenhouse, because they produce food. That's fine. Products, It's a different product. For especially restaurants, they are looking for high quality, extremely tasty food, and they tend to be flown in or driven in. Especially where we grow, I'm competing with Israel. I'm competing with Spain. I'm competing with lots of herbs and microgreens that get.
But also, for example, with flowers.
Also with flowers that have otherwise huge amount of carbon kilometers because they are flown in or driven in. We haven't used a drop of pesticides in all of 4 years, and 95% of our water we recuperate. If we have access, because one of our principles, again, we grow to order, we always get rid of it through either Too Good To Go or through food savers. But some depends a bit. Last winter, my wife was really unhappy because she couldn't get any salads because everything was sold. We couldn't get anything for ourselves as well. So we really tuned to that. And we have had a steady growth of our production. It's really, we try to not, again, we don't push and see where we can sell, but we grow steadily so that we, for example, we did the first half of this year, our sales were up 50% over the same period the last year. We try to grow steadily, but continuously. So that's a bit of some of our achievements. But what's next?
Okay, well, so these duck units, this is something that we are extremely excited about. At the moment, we are using, as we told you earlier when we were sharing this dashboard picture, one of the things that we are using is CO2 in our production. Why CO2? Well, because plants are growing much faster if they have more CO2 available. So we are operating at the moment with 550 ppms inside of our system. And we are hoping to keep up with this or increase even the numbers in the future. But the point is that CO2 that we are getting that we are getting supplied is actually coming as a byproduct of different industries, but mostly from the fossil fuels. The same like for everybody else. And we are super excited about this novel product, this direct air capture units that are becoming available on the market. That's actually happening real time. Now they're testing it, and soon enough it's going to be possible to buy one of these units. And we are hoping to buy one by the end of the year and implement it on the beginning of the next year. That's going to also give us another sustainability point, and that makes us excited.
Yeah, we're super excited about it because we are, we're based in the city, and just having, being able to extract carbon from the air in the city and locking it down in plants is something.
CO2.
So we've actually really
to replace
quality,
CO2 from the
everything
fuels with atmospheric CO2. And this is not just for us, this is for many industries. It's going to be available for the greenhouses, but we just want to be one of the first ones using it just to make our whole business module even better.
Yes. Yeah.
The expansion,
we're also
here and the other locations.
Yes, we're going to be expanding our production here by the end of the year, but we're also looking at another location. Then that's a bit for the third point. One of the things that we've come to find, this vertical farming, getting this up and running is not an easy thing, and there's no manuals. So we are really trying to see if we can make this location a blueprint for further locations. Because then we can have real impact. As an economist, I also look at impact. How can we have a large sustainable impact? Well, that means if we can spread vertical farms to multiple cities. So that's really for us a focus, how to get to really have all the knowledge available of how to do a vertical farm. Whether we're going to do, we want to do a first expansion ourselves so we can retest that. And then we're going to see if we can get either through franchising or other forms to get other, inspire other people and get their vertical farms up, and so that we can help them both in how to do this operationally, how to do this financially, how to have your IT running, how to have your websites, how to have your automation, how to have your dashboards, all these things, how to run your farm. Is something we want to collect in data and make sure we can help people in really launching their own farms.
Yep, that's basically it. Now it's coming to the point that you need to ask us questions. Yeah,
because we've been talking.
We've been talking quite long enough, So tell us more about you. If you have any questions, of course. Marco, I'm sure that you have some questions. I saw your face here. I see your smile.
I was trying to. Sorry about the noise. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you very much for your time and for this really nice presentation. I'm really, really impressed. Seems like you have, it's such a cool business project, and the sustainability part of it is what the project is quite about. My question goes more related to the partnerships that you have. You work now with so many restaurants and even apps for like to go. And what was some of the biggest challenges for this? Do you have someone who only deals with this part? Or maybe at this point they come to you rather than you to them?
Both, yeah. It's a real mix. We've had to do daring things to get in the beginning to get in the attention of certain well-known restaurants. If you're looking at our restaurants clientele, we both have very sustainably focused restaurants. We have high-end restaurants. We have some great food bars who just want the quality. So we have a real mix of people. In the beginning, it was, almost door-to-door salesman that you have to get in. But we've seen now that with especially using Instagram and having information out there, it's starting to spread. The strategy that we use to make sure that we don't grow too quickly is paying off, and that we always deliver. We don't only have a exceptionally a high quality product, we also have a high quality service, and that's starting to filter through. I'm sure it's in most cities that way, but because restaurants and chefs, they talk.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they talk.
And they take pictures of the food.
They take pictures of food, etc. Yeah, but they also will, if you don't do a good job, your reputation will go. So we've built reputation slowly, and we can see that now we've got chefs picking up on it, we're seeing the Instagram. So we have both things going, that people actually go like, hey, I want to work with you, or can you send me something? But also that we just go around and we knock on doors still. So it's a combination. And we're very lucky to have 2 people who do those things as well. So you need to really organize yourself to make sure you have that great customer service. And the other side, have people who are in tune with your market and talk to them and know how to talk to them. So for example, Lucia was mentioned, she has a background lots in restaurants and as with chefs, and knows how to talk to them. So she speaks the lingo, and she can show them and knows what to show them. But it's really about finding your market as well.
Any other question?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark, for the question.
But I asked a question about your technology. First of all, it's very impressive what you have reached within the containers. It's always very interesting to see how natural environment could be created inside the containers. So my question would go towards your technology. I've seen the dashboard with many information in a compact form. So I wonder, since you mentioned you are from a technology area, is it something that you developed further on your own, or did it come with the container?
Very good question. Thank you. The dashboarding is something we developed ourselves. When we started out, there wasn't, our supplier did not have something available like that. They do now in certain stages, so you can get that now. However, they lack, I find it very important to have control of your data. Also when it comes to alerting and having systems that alert you when you want to. So we've really built that on top ourselves. So both on the websites as the dashboarding, we collect the data from the sensors of our supplier, but the dashboarding and all the alerting system is something we built ourselves.
Thank you very much. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Okay. I have another question. Thank you so much for the great presentation. Like, I'm not from this topic before, and I learned a lot from you, so thank you. And you mentioned that you have so many varieties there. How did you manage it, like with that so much differences you have with the plants? And the second question, you mentioned about the sustainability, about carbon footprint and everything. Did you manage the budget like more because you were more concerning about the environment, and how you manage it?
You want?
Well, for the varieties, we basically grow, as we said earlier, on demand. So it's always important to listen what your buyers, what your consumers like. So the same is with chefs, the same is with individual consumers. I guess you figured out the mix of 5 for the individual consumers, depending on their...
it's a mix. So one of the things we try to do differently is that, we're not selling plants, we're selling products. So that's a big thing. So we are selling our plant boxes, or we're selling a product to chefs, which is something they need, or it's not just I want basil. No, we're selling them a certain type of basil. So we tried to see what works best in our environment. We have limited growing spaces, so we can't differentiate in climates as much as would be ideal. So we've selected a climate that covers a broad range of herbs and salads. And we test and see as well, which when we come across new ones, we spend quite a bit of time of seeing, this would be nice, test them, and then after we've tested that we can grow them, we go to restaurants and we have them try it out. Sometimes that's a hit. Sometimes it's like, that's a miss. So it's really about, we've built that 70 varieties. We've built that up both from just trying out and having requests from chefs saying, oh, we're looking for this.
Or they come to us with a problem. Like, for example, there was one chef here in the neighborhood. He was all the time asking us about the flowers. Can you grow flowers? And we were like, okay, yeah, we are excited about it, but we didn't try it yet. So nothing. Then we figured out which varieties are the most popular, and we tried to grow the flowers. They grew perfectly. And that's basically how we started with it. We were thinking also, there was a lot of feedback coming from him and from other chefs that were saying, most of the flowers that we are finding here in the Horeca shops are coming from Morocco, and when you open the box, they stay good for 2-3 days, and that's it. And with our flowers, we had completely different response. Our flowers are staying good for 7 days, 10 days. So they were really happy because they purchase it once, and then they need to purchase again new box in a week or so. While with the other packages, it's only for a couple of days. So that's basically the way how we expand the varieties that we are growing.
Absolutely. And you had the second question
about carbon footprint. Yeah.
Could you just repeat that?
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so my question, because you are more concerned to the environment, did this make you spend more budget for that?
Yeah.
And how you manage it?
Let's just say, if you want to be a sustainable business, it's not cheaper. It's a bigger challenge. So you have to it takes more time to find your business model, to focus on that. It is something you have to really look at. You saw the example, we exclusively use reusable packaging. That's they are more expensive, of course, for us to buy.
Yeah.
But you also have to set up a system for them to come back. So you have to and clean them. So you have to really. It's much easier to do one-way packaging and be done with it. It requires more thought and more work and more logistics to do reusable packaging. For example, we're busy setting up pickup points at different locations. You really have to think about, how do we get back? How do we register things? How do we make sure people return them? How do we know who returned them? So it requires much more effort. So it's definitely not a cheaper way to do things, but it is a better and more fulfilling way to do things. And we like the challenge. We like puzzles.
We like sustainability, and we like figuring out how we can make it work.
Thank you so much.
And we have another question in the comments.
Okay.
It's impressive that plant has barely used any pesticides in 4 years. Can you explain the methods or technologies used to maintain this pesticide-free environment?
Yeah, absolutely. Very good question.
It's a closed
do you want to field that one?
Well, I can say it simply, just a closed system. There is no way for them to enter. They are not coming with seeds. They are not coming pesticides. Insects are not coming with the substrate. There is no eggs in the substrate or something like that. So basically, that's the main way. That doesn't mean that we don't have pests at all, because it happens that sometimes in some part of the system we have, not in the main growing unit, but for example, in germination, it can happen that we have fruit fly issue or something, and basically we need to throw everything away because we cannot come and spray it. So meaning start again from the beginning, even though it's not so bad because
our cycles are short.
Cycle is short, so it can be fixed easily. If we would be growing something that takes 7-8 months and this would happen, it would be much more complex and we would have much bigger losses. Gladly, this is not happening a lot. Since I'm here, it happened once, and I'm here for a year.
Once in 4 years.
Yeah. So that's
the only infestation we have. So it's being careful. It is by having good suppliers of seeds. It's by having a good supply of substrate.
Yeah.
It's about making sure that you have procedures in place, how you clean things, how you treat things, what goes into your germination, what goes into your growing systems. it's really a process of how to do it.
And also assess the plants. We need to also quite often check what's happening, how do they look? Is there something maybe developing there? We are looking at these plants every day, so we are always making sure that they are being observed. That if something is happening, that we pick it up immediately. While there is no that before everything grows to the catastrophe, to the catastrophic levels.
Yeah. Excellent question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank
you. Hope we answered it.
Yes, thank you very much. I think that we can close up. Any last questions? I see the last.
Well, we left you our links, how you can follow us, how you can find out what we are doing next, what's happening in our little farm. And we also shared you in the next slides, next to our pictures, we have also our emails. So if you have any questions later, come to us, ask us, we're going to tell you. If we know the answer, we're going to tell you.
And follow us on Instagram. That's where you can follow most things that go on. Thank you very much for your time, your questions. And Joanna, thank you, and Marcus, thank you for organizing.
Yeah, thank you again.
Thoroughly enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time again. And thank you everyone for attending the webinar. Sorry for the noise. We hope to see you in this is one of a series of webinars. So we hope to see you all again in the next webinar. We'll let you know when it is. And thank you again to our speakers for the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us. Have a great day.
Bye.
You too. Bye.